Hello and welcome to my channel. It's What Is He Said, and this is just me just randomly, whatever just comes into my mind, whatever I want to talk about. If it's interesting to you, then fantastic. If it's not but you're still intrigued, that's good. It is what is. I came across this duo on social media, just like looking on Instagram and everything, and I think I came across them on the Shade Room. And what's their name? They're called Up Lighties, and they have this song called "It's the Good Life" or something, and they're just at some house that has a pool outside, and it's full of girls, just enjoying the sun. So I don't know how they managed to find a plan it perfectly where you can have a video shoot, and for it to be nice outside in England. They managed to accomplish it. It looked like it was a really, really nice day. But anyways, I was intrigued by them. One thing about me is that I have very little patience for rap music. To be honest with you, I can't really stand it. I really do not like rap music. Um, I like, when it comes to rap music, there are some songs I like, and usually they're commercialized songs. They're really just like, they're just the typical songs that you can't help but to like. They're very, very generic. But as in, for me to sit in my house, right, and listen to rap music, I don't think so. For me, even in the club, no. One of the reasons I that ruins my experience. I would actually say not dislike, but ruins my experience when I'm in America is when I go to the clubs and they are obsessed with hip hop. I can't stand it. I haven't got the time for it. I haven't got the patience for it. For me, rap music is because I can't just listen to it. I just look at the theories around it. For me, rap music is just glorifying capitalism for the working class. You're there, you just started out, and you're like, I got money this, I got money that, but yet you're in the council house or you're in the projects. Right? It's not even speaking on affirmation. It's not even saying, I want to get to the point where I'm going to have money to do this, do that. You just started yesterday. You're in your bedroom and you're talking about, I got money this, I got money that. And then you're like throwing money all over the place. You're in a council house, right? Or even for those who live in middle class, there's a thing called middle class poor. And for those of you who don't know about middle class poor, it's where you have a car, you have a house, you're able to pay all of your bills, but you have very, very little left. Very, very little left. And that is because anytime you get a salary, anytime you make a little bit of money, right, you then pick up another liability, right? So it's called being financially illiterate. So even if you have money, you don't do good with that money. So you're still living in a state of poverty because you're not making the correct financial decisions. Right. So this is not just as in, you're coming from a working class background or you're coming from a benefits background. This is even if you come from a middle class background, you can still be living a middle class poverty background. But anyways, I do just think for me, Karl Marx would be just rolling in his grave if he looked at rap culture, because you are just doing the job for the elites. They don't even have to try hard anymore. Right? So I'm supposed to be talking about Gassed Up Lighty, but I have to give you the background of this, right? They're not even doing your rap music does all their marketing for them. All of what they would have had to pay for a marketing team, rap artists have it. I've known some people who will have a Gucci belt and sleep on the floor. Excuse me. The money that you're spending 600 and you're telling me you can't get a mattress. You're spending 600 and listen, we live in the era of IKEA. You can get a good ass bed for 600. but priorities. You're just starting out, or you're already there, but then you're bragging about this company and that company and that company, right? It's a poor mindset doing the job for the elites. You're marketing for, they don't need to put money into marketing. I actually will have want to research into it. I want to research into, and I will at one point, and please remind me, I want to research into, since the since I think it really started in the early 2000s, like this rise of just promoting products and promoting companies, right? I think it really started in the 2000s. I want to look at from the start of the 2000s, right? And rap culture, how much money has the money that these companies, luxury brands, how much they used to spend on marketing, have they stopped spending it on marketing? And then the other thing is, you're promoting them, and you're doing all of this like rah rah rah, right? All of this big boy talks, big girl talks, but will they ever come to your defense? Will they ever even use you? There was a point where all of these black artists are you talking about these large brands, and these large brands wouldn't even put a black model. It's just ridiculous to me. All right. So when I listen to the music, I can't push past that silliness. For me, like that kind of like level of, we're talking about generational wealth now, but I just feel like aspects of rap just promotes generational stupidity and generational poverty. And this is another aspect of it. People just don't think. Even if I make money, right? And I will. Let me put that up there. I will. I'm going to be comfortable. I'm going to be good. I wouldn't buy a mansion. Even if I bought a mansion upright, what people don't think about is the fact that with a huge mansion, even if you bought it cash, the maintenance of it, the gardening, electricity, even in my growing up and everything like that, even in my tiny ass house, there were certain rooms that we used more than others. It was just that there were certain rooms that everyone was just there, and then other rooms you just like my bedroom, like I went there once in a while. And then when my stepbrother and sisters moved in and I couldn't stand them, that's when I started staying in my bedroom a lot more. But I loved my living room. So not every room gets used. It's the maintenance of it. So a lot of people go into huge debt and you lose these houses, huge houses that they actually bought outright, is because they can't maintain the bills. Right? So as soon as you make a little bit of money, and this is what I'm talking about, it's just that this mindset. You're making money and then you put, oh, I got this big mansion. For me, that's silly. That money, you should have went to a poor area, right? And I would just buy a whole street of houses. You know the houses that are like like they just locked up completely. Buy a whole entire street of houses. Both sides. Because sometimes that's the prices of these houses, right? Both sides. A city like it's going to be my city soon. I'm gonna have to start repping it like I rep Southeast London. I'm moving to Baltimore. So there's areas in Baltimore where it's just abandoned houses. For what you pay for that mansion, you could just buy 2 streets of houses, renovate it. So not only are you adding, and Baltimore is a black city, it has the majority of the people living in the city of Baltimore are black. So not only are you giving people wages as well, you're building it up, and you can have that whole entire street where you build it up, and from building it up, it can become an up and coming area. You will forever have wealth if you own land. You will forever have wealth if you own property. I'm even planning, like, listen, right? I'm planning, me and my wife, planning as in we will still stay in our rental property and yet buy and renovate. Because you're going and getting this big ass house just for yourself. Just for yourself. Where is that other source of income? It's about having disposable income, passive income, right? Passive income. Passive income is you don't have to try. You go to bed, you look at your Monzo account, and you're like, okay, cool. You wake up in the morning, you look at your Monzo account, and you're like, oh, cool. Oh, it's gone up. That's what passive income is, and that's what property provides for you, right? So I can't listen to rap music because most of it is just lies. It's unrealistic. It's glorifying a lifestyle that, hold on, you're trying to get out of, right? You're trying to get out of that lifestyle because, I kid you not trying to be funny. Don't lie to my face because I'm a grown ass woman. Don't lie to me. Because as soon as you make money, you move out of that area, but you're trying to glorify it. Some of you guys come from middle class backgrounds. Some of you guys come from poverty, but your parents raised you and did their absolute best so you don't have to see it. So for example, myself, I grew up in a council estate, right? I grew up in poverty. I grew up on benefits, but I didn't feel it. And this is something that I'm going to actually link to the purpose of this, which is gassed up lighties. I didn't feel it. And the reason why I didn't feel it is because my mum done well with that little money that we had. That little money that we had, she makes sure she rationed it properly, right? We never didn't have food, right? If there was something that other people were wearing, my mum will always say to me, like, prioritize, like, what do you really want more? So when everyone was wearing, I'm 31 years old, so if you're in that age brackets, you will understand this reference. There was a time where everyone was wearing the Gap hoodie. Everyone was wearing the Gap hoodie. The blue one, where it just says Gap, like, boom, right? Everyone was wearing it. And then I'm like looking at it and going, oh my God, I want to be a part of it and everything like that. And I asked my mum, and when you grow up, you can't get everything. But if you have somebody that is like managing money properly, like, you know that you can't get everything. So it makes you think like, okay, what do I really want? So before I go to my mum, I'm like, okay, what do I like? Because I know she's going to try her hardest to get it for me, right? So you don't ask for everything. So I looked at that Gap hoodie and I just went, you know what, I'm all right. But then after that, the denim jacket came out, and I looked at the denim jacket and I went, okay, actually that's more feasible, that's actually more useful to me than that hoodie, right? Because the denim jacket, I can wear it in all weathers, because in winter I can wear a hoodie and then all of it, and add that extra thickness. My house was only a 10-15 minute walk, depending how lazy I was feeling, right, from my school. So I'm not out in the weather for that long, right? So I don't, I can go, basically I can choose style over substance, or style over warmth, in winter. I also saw denim jacket, that's timeless, right? Denim jacket I can wear in the summer as well, because when you leave your house at 12 and then you're getting back at 6 o'clock and it's really, really nippy. Yes, right? I was just like, okay, that makes sense. So I asked my mum and she got me the denim jacket. The reason why this is now linking back to Gassed Up Lighties, they done a interview with, I think her name is ZZ, something like that, right? And they must have said, listen, if you come from a house where you have at least one parent that loves you and you mess up, then that's you. And I could relate to that. I could relate to that. Like, because my mom did her best. Like, when I say she did her best as in financially, but as in parenting, she did a banging ass job. She did a brilliant job. So when she gave me all of this confidence and she was there like constantly, she couldn't help me with her homework because she didn't speak English at the time of, you know, my schooling, my like as in primary and secondary schooling. She didn't have that level of English to help me, but she gave me positive affirmations. She built me up. So in a sense, having that and having someone there and having someone that is trying, right? What is your excuse? Really? You got teachers that can help you, got this and that. Obviously, with any argument, when you look at individual experiences, is it can be completely destroyed. So there are some people that can give me individual experiences, but to be honest with you, there will be a point where I'm going to tell you my life story. I don't care. You can always find a way. I get to that point where I'm like, I don't care, right? I don't care. I am actually not the person to be coming with excuses. I'm not the person. Go somewhere else with that rubbish, right? So I went around the houses with this, but I just started talking. The reason, so I don't have patience for rap music. And then I saw Gassed Up Lighties. I went on YouTube. I looked at one of their videos. I kid you not, I cannot tell you the name of the videos. All I know, there was one video where they were in the car and they were like on a roof, right? So if you are a Gassed Up Lighty fan, you will know it. If you look at Gassed Up Lighties, they just started out. They've only started out for like under like when that ZZ interview came out, they said that they were only been around for about 6 months. So they're very, very new. So they don't have that many videos. So if I say the one where they're in the car, with somebody who doesn't have patience for rap music, I watched the whole entire video. I don't watch whole entire videos of rap. I don't have patience for it. And then I watched the next one where they were just in a flat, right? And they just had a mic and everything like that. And I watched that fully. And I was thoroughly entertained. Not only was I thoroughly entertained, I felt they were good. I thought they were good. Do you know why I thought they were good? It's because I thought that their lyrics were, first of all, I'm not the one that using like rap references. I like what I like. I don't like what I don't like. The flow of it was fantastic. Then they hit with some bars. Is that what you say? Some bars. I was like, oh. And the other thing is, what they were saying, because of where I grew up, my home life was great, but I was exposed to a lot of things. I was around people who lived that street life, who spoke to me. I dated some people who lived that street life. You know, the ones that want to go out with a good girl, and then you're a good girl and you're just like, oh, you know, it will be fun. Maybe I'll change them. You know, that kind of bullshit. So you hear all of that stuff, right? So I know people who are about that life. I've been around that about that life. I've seen somebody get stabbed in front of my face, right? And that, again, is story for another day. I'll do story times or whatever, right? But getting stabbed right in front of my face, having the police call me and tell me to come in as a witness, and I'm like, who? So I can end up getting stabbed? I don't think so. I called the person who got stabbed. I'm like, listen, darling, all day, me and you, brothers, sisters, yes, but I'm not going to be a witness. The person is like, listen, I don't want you to be a witness. You're just actually going to look for drama. We'll handle it, right? I've got my peoples. We'll handle it. And it got handled. So when somebody's really talking about that life, I recognize it. I recognize it fully. And they are about that life, right? And but they are talented. I feel like they are talented. I loved it. I really, really enjoyed it. And then when you get someone like me that doesn't have patience for rap music, right? Doesn't have patience for all of that, right? Watching a third song fully, babe, 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 I have converted. And then I've got stuff to do. All right. I've got stuff. I've got a lot of stuff to do. Okay. I have a full-time job. Right. I have two businesses that I'm getting up and running. Right. I've got a whole entire adult functioning relationship that I need to nurture. Right. And give her my full unabided. Like, I need to give her attention. Make sure, like, oh, I need to nurture it. That's another job. Right. No, I love my relationship. Right. But relationships need time. Okay, so for me to watch 38 minutes of an interview about anyone, I just don't do it. I watched their interview. Again, I was very, very happy with what I saw. And sometimes we have what I liked about light skin, what's it called, gassed up lighties, is because I felt that they were real. They were girls, they were London girls at its fullest. 100%. What I've seen, if it's not like glorifying what's called materialism when it comes to rap music, the other thing is this copycat of Black American culture. It pisses me off. Okay, this is Black British culture, right? So you're either Black British, where you have been in this country for like 100 years. Your family has been here for 100 years. Or you are the where how you got here is from the Windrush generation. Okay, right? So that is around, depending the arrival, but that is around like 1955. Definitely, it was definitely after World War II. So majority of people started coming in about 1948, but 1955 was just that push, right? Or you come from the African background, where you're first generation, right? So that occurred around like 1980, right? So that adds a little bit of something into it. And then you have the British culture mixed up in that. We have our own flow, we have our own culture, we have our own struggle, we have our own mindset. I am sick of seeing this copycat, and sometimes not even done well, of American culture. Like this overuse of the N-word, it doesn't even sound good in a British accent. And the other thing is, that is something that I don't even think Black Americans should do. Please stop bringing that over here. Stop bringing that rubbish over here. It still means what it means, that you are property, you are inferior, you are less than. I'm talking about the N-word. You are less than, right? You are as good as an animal. Right? They described slaves, right? And when we say slaves, let's not like as in detach from it, right? Because we come from when I say we as in Africans, we come from a colonial struggle. Let's not detach from it. It's Black people. It's Black African people. Black African ancestry. As an animal, as inferior. So listen, do not ever, and I'm telling you now, do not ever call me the N-word. Right? Do not ever call me that. I don't care how you beat around, I don't care, right? Whatever you try to explain to yourself, don't put that name on me. You do what you're doing, even though words are powerful. The word still means what it means. You end up living your words. So words are powerful. So when I saw these girls, they weren't saying it often. They dropped it once or twice. They wasn't saying it often like some people like saying it continuously. It doesn't even sound good in a British accent. Behave yourselves, right? But They looked like London girls. And even when they done this song called The Good Life, right? They look like London girls dressed up. They had real bodies. Like when I say real bodies, I'm talking about no surgery type bodies. Okay? Just a nice, healthy body. Right? Don't tell me because the younger one is skinny that she's not healthy. Like, nah. Some people are just are just thinner. That is it. Healthy bodies. Right? They come to an interview that is popular. Right? So that girl's is very, very popular. No makeup, natural as anything. I loved it with their hair slicked back. Oh my God. They just look like the mixed race girls that I've grown up with. Their hair slicked back, you know, like their baby hairs. I was like, oh my God, this is Britishness. This is Britishness. This is like when I look at them, it reminds me, I'm like, oh my God, the way they talk and everything, the way that they carry themselves, and they're just real. They're just real with their experiences. They're just real with it. Like, and so, like, one of my videos, I was talking about, like, you know, Africans just need to stop because Africans are talking about how Americans are taking African culture and how Americans are like trying to monopolize and take advantage of and, you know, profit off of the back of African culture. And then another thing I'm noticing, those talks, right? I'm holding my hand up against my ear just so you guys know, because this is just like, you know, audio, right? I'm hearing, okay, if you're African, you know what I mean, how I'm hearing, and I'm starting to see in the comments and everything like that, where people are talking, for example, Drake. I'm not really that into music, so if you're looking for details, I'm not the one that's going to give you details. I give you vague. I've got things to do. I'm busy, okay? And again, I'm not that interested. People coming, right, as in the Drakes and everything like that, coming and, you know, getting into like the rap music and all of that, and it's just like, oh, you know, they just coming and, you know, stealing, you know, the British white culture, or the British black culture, sorry, stealing the British black culture and not recognizing it and not giving recognition. This is the other thing. You're saying it with your chest. You're saying it with your chest about, oh, Africans, black Americans are not giving Africans their credit and their acknowledgement and their da. And you're saying it with your chest about, oh, how like they're coming, these black Americans are coming over and they're using, you know, grime, or they're using the beats and they're using these like typical British sounds, and they're not giving any recognition. Excuse me, how long have you been using American culture? How long? And how very dare you? All of you ones that have all of these rappers, and I don't know the name, that have doll at the end of it. Sorry, was that not black American women that were using dolls? Literally looking at you is copycat, as in from these lace wigs to this makeup, right? Which, to be honest with you, is borderline drag makeup. I don't even... Oh, the style, the videos, everything is that copycat. So I find Gassed Up Lighties refreshing, and I find them refreshing because I feel they are refreshingly British, and I enjoy it. I feel that they are authentic, absolutely authentic. I love the flow. I feel that they are, unless it comes up otherwise, but from my own experience, from my own background, they have been about that life, and they're telling the truth. And they've been about that, like, hustle female life, right? Where sometimes you go in, you know, taking advantage of the situation that is, okay, and hopefully you get something out of it. Or sometimes you stumble on a situation, you're like, oh, I nearly died. And when they were talking about like laughing it off, and this is when you're about that life, you know, when you've been around that environment, you haven't partaked, but you've been around that environment, you know All right. I've been in situations where afterwards, we're laughing. We're like, we nearly died. And that is just by association. I'm like, oh, boy, that was a close one. You know, we nearly died then. Or, boy, or you hear that place that your mum didn't let you go to, right? Or that you had to come back home at 10 o'clock, even though that's when the party just gets started because you got a strict mother, right? Then there was all of these stabbings, and you're like, oh, all you can do when you're around that environment, all you can do is laugh it off. So I don't even want, like, those who have watched the interview feel like them laughing it off is them not taking things seriously. It's a coping mechanism, because what else can you do? It's the cards that you have been dealt. All you can do is laugh it off. All you can do is say, rah, so be it, rah, okay, cool. All you can do is live for another day, right? Some things that I've experienced, sometimes it pops, I forget about it. And that's the thing about, you have to understand the nature of trauma. Your mind is powerful, right? Your mind protects you. Okay, that's why you have people with multiple personality disorders, and people who have multiple personality disorders, or people who have where what is that disorder where they have another person, literally another person that embodies their body. I forgot the name. Oh, the thought just came up. I forgot the name, but I think you know what I mean. Where all of a sudden their mannerism changes and they're somebody else. That's because they went through trauma and they couldn't handle the trauma that they're going through at the time. So their brain created another personality, another person to be able to handle whatever horrible thing that they were going through. Your mind is powerful, right? Your mind tries to protect you. So when you go through trauma of that, your mind is protecting. You can't just live in it, because you know, I'm not moving out of this area anytime. I'm not going to see these people, so I might as well laugh it off. So don't take their laughing as in they're not taking that life seriously, right? They are. But what can you do? Right? All you can do is just simply laugh it off. But I'm going to talk about what, because some of you guys are going to be thinking, okay, what do you think of the name? But it's, you know, what do you think of the name Gassed Up Lighties? What I'm going to say about the name, the only negative thing I'm actually going to say about the name is that the name is going to work against them in this current climate, right? And I would only advise the girls to consider changing their name, just because I feel that they are very, very talented. They are real. And to be honest, because they are just so British, they are actually extremely refreshing. Because I feel that men in this kind of, when I have come across men in the rap, in that kind of rap genre bracket umbrella, they tend to stay very, very, very British in their style, you know, like with the side bag, even the jeans. They just look like, you know, just like the guys that you just see, you know. And I'm a teacher, so they just look like my students, and they just represent like the guys I grew up with. They tend to stay really, really real. Whereas in the girls, a lot of the time, majority, they just look like the copycat version of what the American girls look like. And to be honest, a lot of them are not even doing it well. All right, but it's not for me to say. Actually, I'm saying it, okay? I don't know enough to even name names and everything like that. So they are refreshing and stuff. And I think they're very, very relatable. I think they're very, very relatable just because they are refreshingly British. It's weird that you're in Britain and you find it refreshing that there's female artists that are representing Britain, that are just British girls. And you usually see that with the white girls that come in the industry, that they just like look like the girls next door. They look like the girl that you work with, the girl that you went to school with, da 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 da. But when it comes to like black women in the music industry, they just tend to like just look like American girls. And that really just annoys me, because it's just like, oh, can we have some level of individuality, please? But I would only suggest for them to change their name because it will go against their brand. Just because there's this rise of colorism, people are going to put them in a box, try to provoke them. Like, one thing I didn't appreciate is that ZZ implied in a way, because they were saying that Gassed Up Lighties had two arguments, like online kind of feud with these two girls, and the two girls happened to be dark skinned. And all of a sudden it was this kind of, I feel like that, even that form of questioning is a form of, us against them culture, which is light skin against dark skin culture. Because why does it have to be that? Right? Because if you look at the basis of it, the older sister must have said she was the queen of the South, right? And she wasn't even that gassed up about it. And I actually watched that other girl, I think her name was Sheo or something like that, and she was just like, I'm the queen of the this and the queen of the that and the queen of the... That's another thing I hate with rap music, is this queen business and this king business. I can't be bothered. She went in it like that, and then, but in Gassed Up Lighty, she just said like one sentence or something like that. So the other girl was all like, what, you're not... Why are we looking for trouble? Why are we looking for trouble? But that's what it was actually, the basis of it was. But the interviewer, ZZ, she was implying as though they were probably, like, they were looking for trouble from dark-skinned women. First of all, I'm not with this whole victim mentality that light-skinned people are the cause of all my problems and all my issues, and they make me treat like what, right? And then the other thing is, like, let's just look at two sides of the story. I just thought that narrative, I'm not going to go into that because that's like another separate. I just thought that narrative, like that kind of narrative, like, oh, do you think that people are going to think that you're only having issues with dark-skinned women? Where is the evidence? Well, just because they happen to have two kind of like little bit of a tiff, by the sounds of things, it hasn't even developed, little bit of a tiff with dark skin, with two other rappers that happen to be dark skinned. I didn't really appreciate that, right? But we are in the era of where there's more awareness on colorism, right? And their name is a very colorist, like, it's a very like skin color based name. I am all for being proud of who you are and being proud of your skin tone and everything. Yes, there is history about through colonialism, through slavery, about light skin and mixed race people being favored. But sorry, they didn't ask to be born. They didn't ask to be favored. They didn't ask to be used as a tool against dark-skinned people. Now, there are some who are nasty about it that will take that and put dark-skinned people down. I'm not saying that. However, why shouldn't they are not saying we're gassed because we're light-skinned. It's the same as, I just felt like the titles like Gassed Up Lighties is the same as me saying Gassed Up Congolese or gassed up dark skinned, right? To be honest, if they said gassed up dark skinned, nobody would say anything. Nobody actually would say anything. No one would say anything at all. Like Darko, I love her, by the way, right? No one, as far as I know, no one's really saying anything, because it's like basically to promote dark skinness is all great. And I heard what that ZZ also said, which was the reason why dark-skinned women have had to say, oh, melanin and all of this, all of that, is because, that we haven't been promoted. We had to promote ourselves because nobody else is going to promote us. We had to bring ourselves up because nobody else around us is bringing us up. So that, I felt like she did make a good point on it, but that doesn't mean that they can't gas themselves up. I just feel that they are actually going to restrict their brand because that's what people are talking about. I feel like have that name at the moment because you're starting out, and have it as a clickbait kind of thing, like people coming to you, raise that controversy. But to really stay out of the ghetto or stay out of the council houses and have this generational wealth that I know these girls are desiring, because they're saying, listen, we're not just doing drill music, I believe it was called, right? We're not just doing that. We want to do this, we want to do that, we want to do rap, we want to we want the younger one said that she can sing, so they're going to do singing. We want to do film. We want to do all of these kind of things. But there's difference when you have controversy or clickbait because it's due to a post, or it's due to you hanging around this person. It's due to an event, basically. There's difference when you have controversy that is linked to your name. Now, the companies that really will give you that kind of level of financial stability, the name is just too controversial. The name just means that you're just going to have a whole lot of people that have not taken the time to actually listen to these girls' music, have not taken the time to watch their interview. That was their first interview, right? Have not taken that time and don't actually have an understanding and the history of, what colorism is. They're just falling on the hype. Like a lot of people right now are falling on hype, right? But they don't actually have arguments to back up what it is that they're saying. They're not looking at all of that. So I feel that that would actually work against them to get the money that they deserve, because they are actually really, really talented. And a lot of people, yeah, so sorry, I just had like a lot of thoughts that just happened at the same time. Like it just all happened at once. So I feel like that will work against them. But as in the name Gassed Up Lighty, they just gassed up about who they are. They're light skinned. Why shouldn't they be proud of that? They're gassed up about who they are. And it's not really who they are. They're just saying that's the first thing that you see. Just as in the first thing that you see when you look at them is that they're women and they're light skinned. That's the first thing that you see. And then you start breaking things down, right? So they're just literally just describing the first things that you see. They're gassed up, and I can see that they're actually gassed up. I can see that at a party, they would be the ones just having a good ass time until you step on their foot or you look at them the wrong way. When you look for trouble, if you start it, they're going to finish it. That's what I see in them. You start it, they're going to finish it. So don't start shit, and don't have this perception that because they're light skinned that they're soft. They will show you when you end up on your ass. And don't have this theory in your mind because the younger one is skinny, like she can't throw hands. Believe me, those people are the dangerous one because you underestimate them. So your body is actually more relaxed. You're not prepared. So when they hit you, it's actually 10 times feels 10 times harder because your body's not prepared for it. It's like when you're driving, I'm car sick. But when I drive, I am not car sick when I'm driving. It's because my body, because I can see the bump. I know that I'm going to be turning. So my body actually, my mind says it's going to turn. So my body prepares itself. Whereas when I'm in the car, like in the passenger seat in the car, I'm not prepared for it. Sometimes I don't know there's a turn coming. So I'm just getting knocked about. So that's why I get car sick. That's just a little something about reasons why people are car sick. And another reason why people are car sick and they can't, those who are car sick, they can't read, is because everything around them is moving, but yet the writing is not moving and it makes them nauseous. The worst thing that you can do if you are somebody who's car sick is try and read. Made that mistake. It took me about a good 6 hours to recover. Yeah, so that's really the only thing I'm going to say about them is say that name will work against you because it's okay to be controversial, but to have it just as a staple, as part of your name, honey, that is just, it's going to work against them. What's the other thing I was thinking about saying with them? You know, when I crashed about 3 minutes ago, I think it was about 3 minutes ago, I was going to say something else. I can't remember. What was it? I crashed. Oh, there we go. It's come back to me. In the interview, and the reason I keep on mentioning the interview, because this is actually the first interview that they've done, and I haven't seen any other interviews come up, like they just started. The interviewer Zizi said that what they were saying was very shocking. And then at first I was thinking, what do you mean by shocking and stuff? And then she said that, it's because later on, she started saying it's because you don't expect girls to sound like that. which I would agree. Yes, you don't expect girls to sound like that only on the basis of stereotyping. Girls go through things. Girls are around those environments, where it's not just, because it's like if a girl says, oh, I nearly got sexually assaulted, we're like, oh, okay, that just seems to be like the norm, right? But if a girl is just like, oh, I got into a fight, or a bag of man, like it was like, I haven't said that word in ages. Who do I think I am? Like, do I think I'm 23 or 21? Or do I think I'm 16, a bag of man? Behave myself. I'm 31 years old. Loads of young men come up behind you and you think to yourself, oh my goodness, this may be the end of me. Some women are living that life where they've been stabbed and they know who stabbed them. And I'm talking about the younger one said that. She alluded to it. They didn't go into detail, right? Women are living those lives. And I find it more disturbing that we're more used to hearing women talk about like throwing it back and all of these sexual conversations about like, sucking this and doing that and stuff, sexual reference, than we are about girls that are literally coming and saying, listen, we had no food to eat. Why should, like, that is real, right? Just because we're living in England doesn't mean poverty doesn't exist. We had no food to eat. Forget trainers. Forget designer, whatever. We had no food to eat. Just like now, where for some people... Why are my neighbour's kids out now? I started coughing because I just feel so passionately about it. Where for some, their worst time, for some individuals growing up or right now, their worst time is the summer holidays, because they know they're going to be going hungry, that they might go 2 days at a time, right? Or they might go a week at a time. And luckily they've got tap water, or they've got their friend's house that they go to and they might get a little something to eat. But in their actual house, right, where they lay their head, there is no food to eat. In winter, they have to be out. They are out for themselves. They have to take care of themselves because their parents either don't care to take care of them or are incapable of taking care of them. And there's that aspect, right? Don't care to, because they're not ready to have children, or they are incapable of taking care of them. So that is real. That is happening. And I think it's amazing that they're telling their stories. And I really hope that, because this is the thing about, like, this meddling business. Sometimes they didn't say their age and they didn't want to say their age. And, they can keep their age. That's fine. Right? But I definitely know they're not over the age of 30. And they said that either. None of them are over the age of 30. I think it's important to, that's what I was going to say. Can you imagine? It's time for this to end. It is time for this to end, and I'm ending it, right? Just let me finish this thought process, but I'm ending it. I'm ending it. I just hope that, because they are still young, and the industry, from what I've seen of it from the outsider, it can be very, very intense, and people pushing their opinions and people pushing their agenda, that they don't go changed, and that they're still telling their stories and staying authentic to themselves. Because I'm going to tell you this, you might hear this, you might not hear this and everything like that. Your story is important. Your perspective is important. Right? When you said about that you've been hated from day one, and this is when you was asked about coming from a mixed race background, talk about it, because everyone thinks that just because you're mixed race, it's all rosy. Like, everyone thinks that just because you're light skinned, that you just have this great life, right? Please talk about that. Talk about your experiences. Talk about like living, like where you're physically under threat, and it's not just about sexual assault. Like, you're physically under threat where you don't know if you're going to come back home in one piece. Please talk about it. We need to hear it. People need to hear it, because I grew up around it. I didn't get like you did, because just as you said, I had a parent who loved me, who was capable of looking after me, right? Who did it well. So what I've accomplished, even though I come from that, I could use it as an excuse. Like, there was no excuse. I had that. I did well with it. And I'm sorry that you didn't. And I'm actually talking to the girls and anyone who comes from that. And I'm sorry that you didn't have that. I'm sorry that you had to grow up in a dysfunctional, in a broken home, as you said it yourself, in a broken home. I'm sorry that you didn't have somebody that loves you and that could take care of you. This is one of the reasons why my wife is going to birth, my future wife, she's going to birth me, a child. I'm going to birth a child. But another thing that we're going to do is that we want to adopt a older child from the care system, so that there's one less child who has to feel that for an experience, anything like that, for like a day longer, you know. So we want to do that. So tell your story. Don't let them put you in this cookie cutter box, trying to make you some next copycat, fake boobs, fake bum, fake this, fake that. Like, and what I liked about I'm trying to make this end, but what I liked about what they said, like, who's got time for that? Do you know the maintenance of those butts? Do you know the maintenance of those veneers? You know, the maintenance, you have to maintain your breasts. People just think that you just put your breasts on and that's it, right? You have to maintain that. You have to go and get them checked up or get them redone every 10 years or something. Do you have the money? Are you secure that you're going to have this money now, right? And some of you are getting it done now, and you're getting it done on credit because you haven't messed up your credit yet, right? In 10 years, once you're buying all of this, you're just buying all of that to keep up with the Joneses, to keep up with the Joneses, all right? Or to keep up with the Rihannas of the world, as she is right now, to keep up. Are you sure you're going to have that level of income in 10 years' time? And then next thing you know, you just got a deflated, saggy ass breast, right? Because you have to take out the implant, or otherwise you're going to get an infection, right? Do you know how that butt that you're doing next year? And the other thing is, what time is it? Are you even sure that your body, the style and desires change? What is appealing now, I guarantee you, is not going to be appealing in 10 years' time, because this body type is only attractive now. It is actually only attractive now. It never was. It was for a short period of time. It changes. It changes continuously. So you're getting all of this work done, right? And then in about 5 years' time, 10 years' time, max, right, it's undesirable. Just that other body types have come and gone and have been desirable once upon a time and then became undesirable. I can do another thing on that, right? So, ladies, you're talented. And this is somebody that's not interested in it. I was engaged, and I was engaged because your story was real. You're telling your story. It's real, and you can tell when somebody is real. It's not gassed up, right? You're gassed up lies through energy, right? But it's not, your story is not gassed up. It's not lies, right? That's why I was engaged, and you have a natural talent. So everyone seems to be awake. My neighbor's children are awake. The dogs are awake. That is a sign to end this. All right. If you've made it through this, thank you for... Actually, you should. I'm thoroughly entertaining. What am I talking about like I need to be grateful? I'm thoroughly entertaining, right? I think I am. I enjoyed myself. I really enjoyed myself. I need to eat. I enjoyed myself. So, what is this? Okay. You've all felt this pain. This is quarantine life. This is quarantine for you because it's Monday and they would have been at school, and truth be told, I would have been at work. All right, bye guys. Like, subscribe, all of that good stuff. All right, bye.